Hey there, beloved Ascension Pioneers. I'm back from my short retreat, which was this weekend, and I think I'm still going to take a few. I'm very sleepy. You can probably see it, under my eyes, because I haven't slept like at all today, maybe an hour, because then I talked to some people, and several people have experienced the same. It's really interesting because the energies are very high and very intense, and there are immense openings happening. For instance, I put the link for my mother's mandalas on my Facebook page, and I already sold 10 of them like just in one day, and I didn't even thought of it because I didn't yet make an official page with the Etsy profile. So things are happening so fast with a lot of the things we're now putting out there, and it's just really incredible at the speed of light. Things are happening for those of us who are staying heart centered. Maybe not all the time it's easy, but sometimes it's just how it is. The more you surrender, the easier it is, and the more influx of everything new comes to us. And also at the same time, we keep giving, we've been giving these reports from other people who live their lives more in a way of third dimensional living, and we keep seeing the differences, and they're growing between us. And sometimes, this is not pleasant. So that is why today I decided, instead of doing the questions and answers video, which will be tomorrow, I will do a video on, being aware, being within truth, or living in your own bubble of, ego and veil of illusion. Because recently I had this experience. I just can't believe, because it's so funny, because when you see how ego works and how it operates, and it's just really funny. And I want to speak about this. I'm really sleepy today. You can probably see it in my energy. In last video I made, several people said, "Oh, you look so tired." And I wasn't tired. I was just really needing to balance, giving and receiving in my own free time. So that's why I went for a short break. But I still have the same surprise for you, and I will make my draw for the lucky winner. Everybody's a winner, so that's why I don't like this word. But I will select someone who will get a free session, conversation, reading, personal reading with me on Skype. And we will agree on this. And it will be someone from those of you, beloved Ascension Pioneers, who have been sending me your lovely videos, sharing about your heart's truth and essence, and shining your light, just paving your way, forwards, and deciding to make a new step on your journey. And that's all really so beautiful. So I put this crystal bowl. It's really heavy, and wow, although your notes are not heavy. So I've been writing down the numbers. That is the number sequence to which you belong on my community playlist. And these are all your videos that you have sent in and that I have shared on my Facebook page. I'm also working on the internet forum that will be on Ascension Pioneers. I have a few helpers, divine helpers, so I'm hoping for that to be established until November, so that you can communicate with each other. And a lot of people have been interested in, receiving some new connections, making some new friends, and this is what it's all about. It's about community. For instance, here in Slovenia, I wish to do that as well. I've been hanging out with a couple of new friends on Friday, and we just had this amazing ideas, to just really merge, our spirituality, our spiritual gifts and knowings, because I don't think it's time anymore for the linear teaching. I come to this room and I say, I'm your teacher. I will speak about things, and then maybe you will ask me questions at the end. It's more about the interaction between all of us, because we all have wisdom, we all have our experiences and our heart knowing, and it's really amazing when people of the like mind, heart, basically of the similar vibration, get together, what they can create, in that time and space. It's just amazing how much new things you can learn, how many new things you can learn, and how you can move on with several things that, maybe you never even thought of. And it's really fun, and I feel that it's time for community. It's time for expansion of this. It's time for new friendships, for new divine companionships. Oops, I've lost one. There's a keeper. Anyway, before I start talking about my video, I'm gonna make a draw now. So it's a live draw, that that I didn't make it up. I don't have any favorites. I love all of you. You're all amazing. You're all my favorite. And those of you who have sent me the videos, I've received 40 already. Can you imagine? It's like 40 in 2 weeks or something. Yeah, I think it's just 2 weeks. And this is an ongoing project, the same as my pink project. And I'll also make another one, and I'll write about it tomorrow. It's about you and your vision for life on this planet, for the new dimensions, new dimensional livings, for ourselves. I received this vision from a sister of light while I was away on my retreat. I still didn't reply to all of your emails because I still didn't have the time. You know, I barely slept today anyway. Just couldn't because those energies are too hyper. But I will reply to all of you in divine timing. I will get to it. You know, I just sit behind a computer when I can. But before, I really would like to make this drawing. I hope I can have a beautiful session, conversation, reading with this person that, you know, spirit is going to choose. I'm just going to be the divine vehicle to do this task. And it's really fun because I've never did that before. Wow, I keep losing them. So you will be able to see that the numbers are written there, and I'll show you who's the number. I don't know all your names because when I look at the number, I'll look at the community. I'll look at the community page, playlist, and see the number. And if I don't know your name, I'll contact you later. I'll say, you know, beautiful sister from, you know, speaking about this and that, but I'll contact you. And I will announce you also on in my newsletter. Wow, tongue-tied again. In my newsletter, which is not coming out today, it's usually on Mondays, but tomorrow, because I really have to go to bed. I'm really sleepy. Anyway, now let's all together take a deep breath. You know, not inhaling all these papers, but I'm just going to close my eyes and I'm going to ask the spirit and all of you that the right person who's meant to receive this gift and opportunity is going to get it. Everyone got their free spirit message anyway, and by the way, everyone resonated with them, which is really amazing, and I love how spirit works. Sometimes I don't know what I'm going to write, and I'm thinking, and I know I just look at the card that I get, and then I write my own spirit message that I'm guided to write. And sometimes I doubt my answer that comes through. I'm like, I don't want to talk about that. I don't even know that person, but I just really guided, write it down. And each time I'm really being confirmed that it's the right thing, or I get the, exactly what I needed to hear. And, that's how spirit works. So whoever will receive this, it's exactly the one that needs to receive it. I hope it's not me because, I spend enough time with myself anyway. So no, I'm not in there. I'm sorry, guys. I'm not in there. Anyway, I'll pick with my left intuitive hand. And like I said, I'm giving this divine decree to Spirit of all that the right number, that the right person, the perfect person gets this gift and opportunity for their highest and the highest good of all within the light of one, within the light of truth. And let's just see what it is, okay? I'm sure that it will be the right person. And if it's not, I'm still gonna invent new projects and games and corporations, and it's just ongoing. We've merely just begun. So without further ado, I will now draw this. Still not guided. Still haven't found. Oh, I did. Now I did. Oh my God! It's a master number. It's the number 11. Now let's see who's 11. Let's see who's 11. It's Louisa. So Louisa, Sister Louisa, I think you moved places, you moved residences, so I don't know where you're from. You said you're moving to some islands. Anyway, we'll contact you. Your beautiful number, and this number 11 is also a message for you. 11 master numbers, or awakening to oneness, whatever you feel that you're guided towards. So this is your number and it's you. Congratulations. You will have to bear with me for 1 hour on Skype. Oh, I bet you're going like, oh, I have enough of her in her videos. I don't want to talk to her in person. But yeah, sweetie, you won. You get to be with me. You hang out for 1 hour, whatever you want. So the list is endless. Okay, guys, now let's talk business. I'm sorry, I'm just really in a good mood today. Things are happening so rapidly for me, and it's all so beautiful. And not just for me, for everyone, I've been talking to my friends, and everyone sees this divine synchronicities and connections and everything falling into place in such short time frames. I'm like, oh, it really feels like time is warping up, and 2012, the end is near, and it's here already, energetically. So, let's see. I want to talk today shortly, because a part of the video was about this, about my draw. And a part of the video I wish to make about really, really being there and being compassionate, and also holding your truth and integrity for those who might not always be there. recently I had this experience, with the person who left in my life without any sense of integrity, without any sense of feeling oneness. Because, when you really understand the unity consciousness, you know that what you do to another, you do to yourself, and you do to all the creation. You do unto God, Goddess, all life. So when people think they're within love, they should really look at themselves, they should really observe this. But because when we truly are within love, we will always be inclusive. We will never, ever be exclusive. I mean, there are times when we're still transitioning, but where we're truly heart-centered and we are embodying higher wisdom and awareness of the fifth dimensional or higher frequency. We just know that fear is the one that makes us act in a way that it's exclusive. So we do things from a selfish kind of way. This is the way of the ego. And we say, that's what I needed to do, period. And it's like we can only see this, narrow vision of us, and it's just us and our needs and what we need, and the other person doesn't even care, or other people or communities or the whole world, so to say. If you're one of those people who litter the planet, it's not really well, because you're just considering yourself. So I was really wanting to share this with you, because what I saw and what I felt through my spirit guidance, and then I did the oracle readings as well, and they all confirmed it, and then I talked to my sister of light, and she confirmed it as well. It was all obvious that certain people right now, what they're experiencing, and in my example, that person, they're going through immense veils of illusion, and they think they're connected, but they're really not. Because what's happening is, ego can place the same bubble around you that the bubble of divine love can do, but you already are that bubble. You just need to remember. But that bubble of ego is something that's trying to protect you from seeing the whole picture, because ego thinks it wants to protect you, because sometimes people have become separated from certain part of them, like an emotional body, mental body, whatever sorts of body, even higher bodies. People disconnect. Why? The reasons are obvious, lack of self-love, all the parallel lives and realities we've been living, all the karmic stuff and ballast accumulated during these times. And, in the eternal realms, everything is one and always within the same time of now. There's been so much going on, and a lot of the people have heavy stories here on earth and are living heavy karmic lives and identities they place upon themselves. So sometimes for these people who have been completely caught up their emotional body or any other, especially the feeling side of life, and these are especially men right now, what's happening, they've been kind of like wrapped in a cocoon, and they think they're connected, and they think they're within the light. But the person who is within the light, how you can really easily see that, will never hurt anyone in a way, because they at the same time they hurt themselves. They will never act out of lack of integrity for that truth, which encompasses all within oneness. They will never be exclusive. They will always be inclusive. They will always consider everyone. They won't just be saying, I need this, so I'll do that. And I would just left someone else behind, because love includes everyone, and everyone is welcome in this joyride. So when we really are within that space of love, we are always there of selfless service, not just to those in our intimate relationships, but to everyone, not just to humans, other species like plant, mineral kingdom, animal kingdom. So what's happening here is, in my example, what it was that this person was so delusional that they described a certain story, which was basically just story. These were facts that they gave to themselves as an excuse to not feel what is truly there. And especially because the thing that they're going through is really deep, is really there and deep. Sometimes they don't want to see it. And because they're still dealing with other stuff in their life, they think that they're right. And they give themselves excuses. People who are really not within the love and integrity yet. I mean, unconditional, beautiful love that leads towards divine love, which is the love of our own presence and the love of who we truly are as source essence. These people won't say, for instance, if they feel that maybe they've done something like that it is exclusive to others. If they will say, I'm sorry, they will say, I'm sorry, period. They won't say, I'm sorry, but, I'm justified. They will keep seeking justification, gratification, because they feel guilt, they feel shame, but consciously they might not know it. But their stuff is so deeply repressed. And why I'm speaking about this, because we are the pillars, Ascension pioneers. We need to be strong for these people. And what this means is that doesn't always necessarily mean be strong in a way, speak your truth, just tell them off, tell them what they've done to you, tell them something, in that kind of way, because sometimes that doesn't work. For instance, I've been having repetitive dreams about that person. I think it was like 2 or 3 times. It was always the same. I was the one who was speaking. I was the one who was really speaking my truth, and they remained silent. It was like speaking to a wall, like a brick wall. And my words and truth just couldn't penetrate through them, which is exactly what I say to all of you. When someone is not ready, when the student is ready, the teacher comes, and vice versa. When someone is not ready, you cannot force upon them that truth. So we have tend to really develop this habit that we need to be heard in order to, speak our truth. We need to be really heard. A lot of us has this. But lately I've just lost it. Sometimes, the old me would be like, I get this opportunity. I get to tell this person this. I was really within truth. But still, now I don't even feel that need, because, you see that you just waste your precious energy. If you try to explain something to someone, if you really try to, tell your truth in all sorts of ways, because if you're not if you're not on the same resonant level, you'll just speak through one another. It's like losing your energy. It's like this great example, I think it's shown in energy-wise in the Celestine prophecy. Because when the energy is, all-inclusive, and someone is ready to be open and to receive that truth from you and to share their own as well, to interchange, that it will be like this. It will be like a melting pot. It'll be exactly as it needs to be, and all the pieces will fit together perfectly. So basically what's happening in our lives, we've been assisting a lot of those who are still very much unaware of these things, who don't know what true love is, who might have, sometimes I've noticed, especially with this person, is they confuse certain terms. For instance, if they've had all the turmoil and things in their lives, so much ballast, that they have around them, and they become free, and then they replace that freedom for, feeling, oh, finally, I'm free, for total source connection. But I tell you, people, you're not fully source connected if you still act at a lack of integrity, unity consciousness, which considers all. For instance, if you have 3 people and the entire result in the decision is not beneficial for all 3, it's not within unity consciousness. If it suits me and it doesn't suit you, it's meaningless. Because the only co-creation really comes from suiting, all of us, serving all of us. And there's always a solution for that. That is what we're aiming towards. That is our self-mastery is pointing towards. And, a lot of these people don't know that. They have a lot of these terms mixed up, and what is ego and what is illusion, because sometimes they live in their bubble, like this protection bubble of light, which is not the same as being protected with the white source light of creation or violet or, blue light. But it's, in a way, the bubble you put around yourself to say, that's how it is, period. And, the moment you say, I know it all, your growth stops. And a lot of people do that. They say, for me, I'm just totally connected. There's nothing I can do. But for us pioneers, our deep retrospection and our research about ourselves is something that is, we're most passionate in our lives about. Because this is what's most purposeful. This is what serves the greater meaning. It's so adventurous for us to go in this ride. That's why we love making these videos and watching other people's videos and all of that. And a lot of those people who think they just know it all, and they put this bubble of ego around them, and they think, that's it. And they keep hurting others. Basically, that means they keep hurting themselves because they don't want to see themselves in that mirror. And there's so much of these individuals, because it is going to be a year, 2 years and a half when the moon is going to be in Scorpio. So deep underworld work, inner research, things that are really deep crap, it's going to resurface. And you know what happens if you start digging in your own crap, it's going to start stink, it's how it is. But usually people don't want to see this because it reminds them of something painful. And it's okay, we can love them and understand them and be compassionate. But we also need to look at the other pole of this equation, which is standing firmly in our truth. And that means not always you will have to agree with what they say, because, forgiveness means you don't approve of what they've done to you or, co-created alongside for themselves. And it's not really always beneficial for you. It's not always within the, unity consciousness. It's just seeing that other part that you just have to stand your ground, because if they were really treating you like in a low sense, really in a low way, in a low manner, without any respect, without any mutual respect, without any consideration that you're also a divine being, because when we don't see others, we just see ourselves. That means we're clearly lacking awareness. We're like this, like horses who have these pads on them. So it's not just about being compassionate and understanding about them. But we need to hold our ground. We need to hold our own empowerment, because we need to be the pillars of light and the embodiments of that empowerment for them, because now a lot of the people are going to be transitioning into this, and we're called to this greater service. And my guidance will tell me, for instance, if someone would be wanting, if they would give me a shallow apologize, note, and I really wouldn't feel them on a deep level, I wouldn't reply, because I would see that they're not ready for the depth yet. I was always the kind of person that wanted depth in everything, and I always felt the depth. I always sought truth. I always was truth. I always wanted nothing but the truth, because only truth sets us free in the end, and it's always true in the internal realms of one. So for me, the quality that is directing us the furthest from our source nature is when we become that, when we become shallow, when we see things from the surface. Because remember, we are human beings. We need to see the earthly truth as well as the divine truth, because a lot of the people, they tend to not easily find that balance. Either they will only see the spiritual truth and they'll be all like, oh, it's okay, all love, forgiveness, compassion, but they won't be grounded enough in a way that they feel there's also the other pole of the equation. Like I say, there's a two-sided sword. Sword has two sides, light, dark, spirit, matter, earthly truth, divine truth. In between them, there's many layers, but you have these two in this world of duality, which still is as it is. You have these two archetypes. So I wanted to read this to you, because sometimes, you might still say, I want to say this to the person, but they're not even ready to accept it yet. And that's different from us speaking the truth and being the pillars of light and speakers of truth and verbalizing it through this divine communication that we're using through many tools and internet and YouTube, Facebook, and all the different communities. But it's also about, like I say, it's not just about this general speaking. Sometimes our relationships will be also our way of serving the light, our intimate relationships. And when someone's not ready, we cannot just force them. And if you feel someone's not ready and they will not understand you on your own level, you don't always have to verbalize your truth. Because a lot of the people I see, they keep losing the energy. I've learned that from my past relationships. I was still, from that last, until that last one, I was still a bit like, oh, but I will tell them this, I need to tell them. I need to stand my ground. Basically, what you seek is you want to be heard. You want to be heard so badly. You want to be understood. But someone, let me tell you this, someone who's not there yet cannot understand you. So don't seek it from that person who is lower in awareness. I mean, less expanded awareness than you are. Give it to yourself. Be that light. Be the strong empowerment vessel that you are. So that is why in the name of this, I wrote this today. This is my leadership decree of my own self-empowerment, and your own, of course. I don't have to speak to be heard. My energy speaks, and that is the energy of sacred truth, of self-empowerment, wisdom, divine connection, and love. The sacred truth speaks in a divine tongue of silence, and silence must be heard, and silence shall be heard. It is time to inspire through divine leadership within the holy truth. It is time to learn to speak without the need to be heard, as truth already speaks by itself, for itself. And truth knows its source. Always. That is why only being that sacred truth can and shall set us free. I think that was a beautiful writing that came through me yesterday at night. And I just feel less and less need to explain, to verbalize. I just feel more and more need to just be, because my energy signature is speaking. And like I said, there'll be people on your path, and there'll be a lot of the people on our path, because we're here to serve them. We're here to serve those who are still climbing. We're climbing as well, but those who are climbing a bit above us, below us, and we're a bit above, and we can offer our hand. But sometimes when someone is not really yet in that level of understanding that it is unity consciousness, it's not just them, and it's totally acting out of lack of self-respect, you just have to also know that the other part of the equation is your integrity, is your pride, but not ego kind of sense of pride, like, I won't do it, and you kind of, raise your nose up high and you think like you're like something special. Or no, it's not about that. It's just about you knowing that you have your sense of pride that comes from your divinity, and that is so holy and sacred to you that you're not going to prostitute over it. You're just not going to do that for someone. And, people would say someone who's not worthy, no, everyone is worthy, but not everyone proves themselves worthy in this human life experience. And like I said, there's two levels: earthly truth, divine truth. We can always come and climb up and soar way up high to the levels of soul truth, but sometimes we have to climb down here as well. Like I say, this is a cycle. This is a beautiful circle that needs to be embodied when we are mastering our energy. When we're becoming this vortex of who we truly are, we need to be up there, but here as well. And like Jesus said, he said, be as wise as a serpent and as gentle as a dove. And what he meant by that is, he knew some of the people and he knew their hearts because he was pure and he was able to know through feeling. So it's like, keep your distance, keep your discernment, be discerning, because not everyone will always be, that doesn't mean you need to stay with people in your life and that you need to reply to them or that you need to kind of explain yourself or your truth if you feel that basically they just won't understand it. And you're the one who has to understand yourself. And when you do, trust me, that light of yours is so powerful that they will actually realize, if they're meant to, if they've chosen so on a soul level, so much faster than if you just try to go like push and pull, push and pull. Push and pull relationships are over and done with. It's no longer serving us in this realm because we're moving upwards. And remember, some of the things that were so known to us here in the earthly level, it's like, what is she speaking right now? It doesn't make sense because this is how it is. People, you have to become aware that things that were as they were here on earth are not of the new. They're not of the sacred truth. They were beliefs. They were thought patterns. There were manipulation and control. And basically, we're discovering the new, which is basically the old. It's our true self is the old. So it's a new, but it's also the old. So remember, choose your battles wisely. Go into conversations and explanations and sharing your truth only when you feel it matters and that the other is willing to accept and embrace. Because like I said, now I feel there's so many people coming up to the surface as in that bubble, which is the cocoon, not the divine bubble of think, which we all reside within. But it's something that basically they're just protecting themselves. It's their ego will always try to protect you. But if a mother would try to protect their child, what would the child really learn? It would be like an invalid, like this. Never going out into the world, never going into adventures, exploring things. So basically, my beloved Ascension Pioneers, that is what I wanted to talk to you about today. Have so much fun. Blessings to all of you. And I'm sorry, but the questions and answers video is coming up next. So I felt this one as more divinely appropriate and timely right now for all of us. So take care, all my love, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.